In this episode, we're going to take a look at Golem Overlord. This can be considered an introduction for those of you who have never played Golem Overlord but might be interested. We're going to go over the UI. We're going to go over what progress has been made since the game was released in mid-2023. And finally, I'm going to wrap up with some tips and basically if I think that this game is worth playing in 2024. If this sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Hey everyone, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here saying thanks for dropping by. This episode, we're going to look at Golem Overlord. It's been quite a while since I've done an introductory type video to the game. The game was released in mid-2023, so it's been about 3/4 of a year it's been out. The developer Yixin has made quite a lot of progress in the game, and so I felt it was worth going ahead and getting back into it. I do play on a daily basis. I do have a guild. I am enjoying it right up front. There's my reason. But there's been a lot of things that have changed and evolved in the game, so I thought it was worth coming back and doing another video, especially for those who might be considering playing the game, and give some facts and go over the UI and the stats and everything, and kind of put it out there in case you might be interested. So what I did was I logged out of my main account. First off, if you're listening to this and this sounds interesting to you and you want to jump in and play, then go ahead and use my link in the show notes. It's my referral link. It gets me a little bit extra in the game. It doesn't cost you anything extra. I would appreciate it. Okay, with that said, I logged out of my main account and I logged into a secondary account. This is an account that doesn't have a Golem Overlord account yet. Okay, so the primary thing you're going to need to start playing Golem Overlord is the Golemancers staff. This costs roughly $10. Okay, so what you're going to have to get is, at this point in time, you can see this is what you're going to see when you log in, and you log in with your Hive keychain, just like a lot of these other Hive games that you may play. The Hive keychain add-on to your browser. And once you log in, you're going to see this, and you can see that right now it costs 31 swap Hive. But it's flexible and it's variable depending upon what $10 equals at that point in time. Okay, so either way, at that point in time you want to start, like right now, if we wanted to start, I would have to have 31 swap Hive in my Hive Engine account. The tokens that this game uses, Part and Shard, exist and are pulled straight out of your Hive Engine account. There's no pulling them into game and out of game, things of this nature. It's just used right from your Hive Engine account. Okay, so right off the bat, we can see a storyline going on, and you can see one thing is that he's made extensive use of AI generated art to a really good effect, because we're talking about a one-man crew here that's made an entire game. So right off the bat, when you log in, you're going to get this, and you're going to be required to buy the Golemancers staff. Now, once you do, then you get into the full game. Now, I've went ahead and logged into my main account so we can get a full view of the user interface. Now, right off the bat, when this game first released, it was just like a lot of games, the tokens were very high priced. When I can remember doing a video where I was making $50 a day. Is that so anymore? No. But also at that same point, we realized very quickly that was not sustainable. So things had to change. And Yixin made a lot of changes within that first few months of the game going active, which basically comes down to learning and trying to correcting things so that the game was not bled dry by people botting and or having 1,000 accounts, etc. So with that said, right off the bat, I do think it is a good time to get into the game, just right off the bat. You're not making $50 a day. What you're making off of the game is much less. But my point here is gotten to be a lot more fun of a game, and it's headed in a direction where he's doing a lot of development, and there's some things getting ready to come online. Not that he hasn't had any really sufficient or extended period of time off, but he's really released chunks of things within the game on a nice steady basis. So we'll talk about in a little while after we get through the UI what's coming up for the game. Okay, but I do feel it's a good time to get into the game, and the reason behind that is that in I'll open this up. In the November-December timeframe of 2023, he came out with the questing system. And before that, at the early parts of the game, there was no questing system. You had to jump in, you had to figure out, you could use the paperwork he had on it, the white paper on it, and kind of figure out, but a lot of it was hit and miss, and we just learned as we went along, right? Well, he went in and did the work to put a questing system into place in the game. And that's one of the big reasons why I say it's a great time to get into the game. Because when you first jump in, you're required to go ahead and pay that $10 to get in. But after that, you don't really have to buy anything else. You can start along and just build up slowly over time. If you want to put some money into the game, you can buy crates, you can buy various items, and we'll look at that as well. But you don't necessarily have to. But back to the questing, he put a system of quests into place that will take you from very beginner to what most would say mid to end game, and on a nice steady basis, they lead you through, teach you how to play the game, and give you rewards, which you can turn around. The reward items are in game. Sometimes they're tokens, sometimes they're items in game, sometimes they're potions and things like that to use. But they are all beneficial towards playing the game, basically. So that's one of the big reasons why I say it's a great, we talk about, especially in Splinterlands, the whole new user experience. This is a great new user experience that he added to the game in late 2023. Okay, so this user interface may look daunting, but we'll break it down in sections and just go around it and discuss everything that really amounts to the basics of the game. First of all, what's this game about? This is an attacking and defending game, okay? There's no doubt about it. There's been a long string of these games through the history of computer gaming that are based on attacking people and getting attacked back and trying to defend and time things right and use various items to better attack or better defend, things of this nature. It's just that now we're on Web 3 and we're making actual token. I can remember back in the 90s playing games online, or not online, but at the very beginning of the internet, where you would have attacking, defending type games. Some things I really liked. I forget the name of one. One was a mobster type game, but this is the same type of thing. You're going to get attacked, and you're going to attack. That's what the game is about. Okay. Now you have different stats, and you have various items you can use in the game, and you have different timings. You have different strategies. So that's what the game is about. Okay, so looking at the UI, basically everything that you see on the left-hand side in this area here are the stats of your character, of you, okay? So we'll just go down the line and we'll briefly explain them. Now, I will tell you one thing is he's went to a good extent of doing tooltips. So if you gloss over something, he explains it pretty well, So there's one thing about the way this game is laid out, it's very math oriented. So if you have a question, it usually comes down to math. Why did this happen? It usually comes down to math. And a lot of times when you do a mouse over, you will get the actual math problem in case you're a math geek and you want to go ahead and work it out. Okay, on the left here, we have the first stat, which is your level. And right underneath it is your reputation. Okay. Now, you increase your reputation, and the more your reputation, the faster your level goes up. Okay, this is something that I didn't take advantage of quick enough when I first started playing, and I kind of had to play catch up. Okay, I was concentrating on leveling up my other skills down here and I kind of let my reputation slide, and I didn't start getting into the higher end leveling, which is called prestiging, until later on, and I had already been bypassed. Okay. So your level basically gives you a skill level bonus. You get experience on every full hour, depending upon the reputation you have. Going back to spending on reputation. Okay. Levels give claim and energy cooldown reduction. Okay. One of the things about this game is every so often you're going to do a claim. Okay. You're building up part, which is the main token in the game, one of the main tokens. And that's what people are attacking you and trying to get off of you. Well, obviously, you're trying to get as much claim off of the part, or as much part claimed as possible. And that's broken down into 4, 8, and 12-hour periods. So if you have the normal setting, it's 8 hours, and you can claim every 8 hours. But people can attack you up until that time period. Okay. So with that said, the higher the level you have, then the faster you're going to be able to claim, basically. And your energy cooldown will go faster as well, because you only have a certain amount. We're skipping ahead a little bit over here to the right. You can see how many attacks you can do on a daily basis. Now, the higher the level, the faster you can claim, and the faster your energy cooldown is going to go, so you can attack faster. That's why you would want to be higher level. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail here, but at a certain point, you start what's called prestige levels. That means you sacrifice 75% of your overall experience, and then you can move up further in levels. This also accomplishes other things that we'll get to when we look at the other stats. But suffice it to say, if you start playing the game, pay great interest to your reputation and level right off the bat, because they give bonuses down here, and I think overall they're the best use of your part and comp. Okay. Now you may ask right off the bat, well, how do I increase my reputation? Or for that matter, how do I increase any of these we're getting ready to talk about? Well, you spend part and you spend comp. As you're going through the game and you do your various claims, you will earn both part and comp. Both of them are spendable on or burnable on any of your stats. It's just that part you can move out, or you can buy, sell, trade on the Hive engine, whereas comp you cannot. Comp stays in game and you have to use it in game. So in most people's strategies, you're going to use your comp up whenever possible, because you can't really do anything with it. Part, you can do whatever. It's a cryptocurrency. You can do whatever you would like with it. Now, with that said, I will note that the fact that this game has a burning mechanism built in. And this, several burning mechanisms built in, but this particular one is the 80% rule. Okay. You need to use or burn at least 80% of what you make in the game. Otherwise, your claims will start to be deducted, will start going down by the equal amount of percentage. Okay. And this is to keep people from draining the game dry. This keeps bots or big farmers from just, claiming, and moving it out onto Hive Engine and selling it off. Okay, so you need to use at least 80%, and we'll come to that later when we look at the stats below. Otherwise, it starts to negatively impact what you claim. Okay, but there's plenty of things to use it on. It's just to keep people from draining the game dry. Okay, so with that said, we've covered levels, and we've covered how reputation is used to increase your level. So you would burn part or comp to get reputation, and thereby earn levels. Okay, now, one of the big changes that came about within the game, within a relatively quick time frame, within a few months, is the addition of scavenger golems. This is not the original way the game came out, but it was also quickly found out that this was going to be an issue, so this is the way he solved it. Okay. Now, the number of scavenger golems you have controls how much part you'll scavenge, okay, each time you do a collection, okay? So basically during the game, you're trying to move up, get more scavenger golems, be able to support those and continually replace them, because every time you go through a claim period, a certain percentage of them break down and you have to replace them. Okay. And once again, this is another one of the burning mechanisms built into the game. So the game continues to function, and there's a relative value on part and shard and comp, or part and shard, and it stays up as far as a crypto value, right? Okay. So that's what you need to know. Basically, you're going to try to increase your number of scavenger golems at a steady rate. However, much money you get coming in on claims, a certain percentage of that's going to have to go to replacing scavenger golems. And your goal is to try to increase the amount of golems over time so you get more coming in. That's the idea. And once again, any of these stats, you can burn part or comp on them. Okay. Now, the second stat is power, and this is exactly what you would think it is. This is how hard or how well you can attack. Okay, power determines your strength when attacking. Each base level above 700 increases your claim cooldown reduction by 0.05%. This is another example of him including the actual formula on how this is figured. So that's a huge high level, but some people at the top of the game have actually achieved that, I'm guessing. But suffice it to say, if you're going to build an attack build, then you're going to want a lot of power, okay? And you can also see at the bottom of this box that my base level is 143, but due to a piece of equipment I have on, I'm getting a plus 32 or plus 7, and then I'm getting a plus 32 from my level bonus, which is my level plus my prestige, okay? Okay, so moving on to fortification, this is your primary defensive stat, okay? If you're gonna build a defensive build, then this is your primary number here, okay? Fortification determines your strength when attacked, and once again, each base level above fortification 700, which is a huge number. You can see I'm only at 143 before bonuses. I don't even anticipate getting to 700 in a long time. Either way, if you get to that point, it increases your maximum active scavenger golems by 5. And you can see in this case, I have a base level of 143. I have a level bonus of, once again, 32 and plus 8 for equipment I'm wearing. So one of the big things, I'll stop right here, is going back to the reputation and prestige. Is as you level up in prestige higher, you get these bonuses. So I wish I would have known about that sooner, or caught on to that sooner, okay? Because spending your part or comp on rep and upping your level gives you a lot of bonuses this way on these particular stats, power, fortification, and faith, faster than if you just one-up them one at a time. Okay. Now, I'm not saying don't up them one at a time, but I'm saying there's good value in increasing your level right off the bat. Okay. Next up is Golem Charging Station. Now, the Golem Charging Station is a relatively complicated one because it does several things. It's your most expensive stat to raise, and it does several things. Okay. The first thing it does is it raises the maximum number of active scavenger golems you can have. Okay. The second thing it does is it gives you a 0.5% claim multiplier per level above 1, which increases what you can actually claim on an hourly basis, right? Or however long you're taking to go ahead and do your claims, either 4, 8, or 12 hours before bonuses are applied. Okay, and as you go up higher in level, it's more of a diminishing returns. Okay, as far as the claim that's a bonus that's applied. Okay, once again, you can see the math equation laid out here if you're into that. It also reduces your energy cooldown, and it increases your shard scavenge rate. Okay, So it increases your part and shard scavenge rate, which is what we want in this game. One of the main things you want to increase is your part and shard scavenge rate. And if anything, your shard, because shard's worth more than part. Okay. And finally, it gives you a shard claim multiplier per level. So even more shard when you're claiming, depending upon your level. And you can see right here, my maximum scavenger golems active is 2125.1. And I'm getting there. I'm at 2,000. I'm working my way up. Okay. Now, faith is one of those, when you first start playing, it's a stat that's kind of misunderstood a little bit. Now, it affects a few different things, and it affects both attacking and it affects defending in the same equation. Okay. Faith determines how much part and shard you steal or lose on your attacks. Faith also determines your maximum shard stash, so you can hold more shards. But like I said, it affects when you're attacking and when you're defending. So if you're attacking and you have a higher level faith, you stand a good chance to get more out of that attack. Now, if you have a high faith and you're defending, they stand to get less out of you, right? Each base level above Faith 600, which once again, huge number. I don't see me ever getting to that. Increases your maximum rep conversion by 0.5%. And you can see my base level of Faith is 143. My level bonus is 32, and my equipment has a plus 21 to Faith on it. Okay. Faith's something I always thought right off the bat I put points into because I saw it working for me. As far as, yes, you're always going to get attacked. It's just with higher faith, they get less out of you. Okay. Now, one note on that, there's also a mechanism built into the game that prevents people from continually hitting you over and over and over again. A person can only hit you so many times within a given period of time, and then they can no longer attack you for that 24-hour period, I believe. And then finally, on this row, you have banked. Okay, bank reflects your staked part in the game. Okay, the amount of parts you can carry before needing to claim is determined by your staked part. So the more you have staked under banked, then the more you can potentially build up before you have to claim. You can see I can potentially build up to 2110.35. Otherwise, if you hit your limit during your claim period, it's just going to max out there and you're not going to make any more. So what you really want as you're going along to have more banked and have a larger stash than you could potentially fill up in that time period. Because at the end of that time period, what you're going to want to do is do your attacks, fill that the rest of the way up, and then go ahead and claim quickly before somebody can attack you. So that's what banked is. Okay, so in the lower left, you will see a log of what has happened to you. You can see your claims. You can see here that I got attacked a couple times. You can see that I did 3 attacks and then I claimed. So this is your log. It keeps track of everything, and then it has a few options right above it. And these are also things that have been developed since the game came out. You have your bunker, which this is my guild. If you have a guild or if you're in a guild, you can go into your bunker, and it has all your guild mates here, and it has your guild information here as far as level. You can see we're bunker level 7, and we are drawing a 3% bonus for working our way up to level 7. We're working on level 8. You can see your guild chat if you're in a guild here. You can talk about the game with folks in your guild. You can see rewards. In this section, like I had mentioned at the top of the show, if you've completed your your series of quests or your daily quests, you will have some awards, and then you burn shard to claim those rewards. If I had any to claim, they would be right here in this box here. You can see the recently released achievement section. This section is purely for people who like to keep track of stats. It tells you exactly what you've done in the game, and it basically details anything you could possibly do in this game, right? And there's no real awards for achievement at this point, but it does keep track of everything you're doing. And when you're filling up bars and doing various achievements, once you get a new achievement, it will highlight it with a green glow. And then finally, the news section. And this is where Yixen drops any news or updates to the game that he wants to put out to everybody. Now, continuing around the UI, you have this little section here down in the middle. And this gives you a lot of information. Okay, I'll start with this section down here, and then we'll go over the different icons. The first line tells you your selection of how often you want to claim. You can claim your normal claim rate is 8 hours. And once again, it's affected by several different stats. Okay. So for instance, this is normal is 8 hours, but it comes down because as your stats go up, you have the option at a certain point to buy the 4-hour option and the 12-hour option. If you go the 4-hour option, you're going to take a minus 20% deduction in your claim. And this is basically pointed at being handier and easier to get more claims in without becoming a prime target. And by what I mean prime target is once you get above a certain level of parts in your stash, which usually comes when you're hitting that 6, 7, 8 hour time period, you become a juicy target, you'll start getting attacked. Well, one of the strategies is use short claim and claim every 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours, and then you have much less, you're much less of a target. So you do take that minus 20%, but in a lot of cases it equals out or it turns out better for you. Or you can go with longer. You can go with a 12-hour claim. The 12-hour claim makes you an even juicier target, but when you do claim, you get a plus 8% bonus to your claim. Okay. I use these interchangeably depending upon the time of day. Usually when I'm up during the day, throughout the day, I use 4-hour claim period just to not become a huge juicy target. And at night during the week, I usually use 8-hour claim so I can go to sleep. And then on the weekends, I want to sleep in a little bit longer. I use that 12-hour period. So, but it's one of those things where you get in and you start using them and kind of figure out what works for you. Now, below that, you can mouse over the little part icon, and you can see really several different stats. Okay, so I'm currently on the 4-hour claim. However, you can see due to my stats, I can claim every 3.62 hours, a little bit over every 3.5 hours. Okay, and then it shows the math for that, right? And at the bottom, it shows that up to 10 scavenger golems will be damaged on my next claim. Now, if you move over slightly, you hit a different box of stats. And this is really a lot of your stats here. Okay. And at the top of this box, this goes over that 80% rule I told you about earlier. Okay. Burn less than 80% of what you claimed, and your earnings will be reduced, growing bigger the further away you are from 80%. So the more you take out of the game past that 80% mark, the more it's going to be reduced as far as you claim until you get back up to or above that 80% mark. This affects part and shard, burn or stake to increase your multiplier. So anything we talked about as far as using part within your stats, buffing up your stats, will work for that. As far as shard, you can also donate them to your guild to help it level up, and that counts towards it as well as counting towards quests. Okay. Now you can see my stats here, the claimed, burned, how many I've staked, how my usage as far as how much I've claimed versus how much I've burnt, and my base claim. And you can see that I have a title bonus of Arch Golemancer bonus of 0.4 plus 4%. And you build this up as you go along in the game, and you achieve different levels, and you start getting different bonuses. Basically, the objective is to get a lot of the highest bonus you can to your claim. You want to claim as much as possible and try to attack and lose as little as possible. That's the whole goal, right? You can see that I have a plus 3% bonus to because my guild level. You can see that I have a plus 17% bonus because I'm prestige 17, and you can see I have a plus 13 bonus because I have a golem charging station level at 27. And then as you go over, you can see that once again what your claim rate timing is. I can claim every 3.62 hours, and you can see how much currently is in your stash. So 212 part is currently in my stash, and below that you can see the shard. Okay, and this number over here indicates my maximum stash level. So if for some reason that had hit 2100, it will cut off. This is also a big kind of strategy point when you're doing your attacking. You don't want to keep attacking after you hit that max limit because it's not doing any good. You're not drawing anything in. So you want to save those attacks for the next claim period and draw in some part or shard. Okay, and then finally over here you can see the timing tick down as far as the clock goes to your next claim. Now, these icons right above will lead to your main actions or the main locations within the game depending upon what you want to do. This first icon takes you to the battle screen, and this is where you will do, like what it's named, all your battles. You can search for users. You can search for what I want to call attack groupings. In other words, you can search for people around your attack and defense level so that you're attacking like leveled people, not too far above you and too far below you. So say for instance, I wanted to attack level 125 to 150 in both of these. I could do that. That would be moderately with around my range somewhere. And he also did a good job about being able to sort. Usually you want to sort by how much a person has in their stash and attack those people that are within your range but also have the most in their stash. So you can see just by the axe icon that it's green. If I click on that, it will tell me that I have an 80 to 100% chance to succeed in that attack. And some different other stats here about the person I'm attacking. Now, if you, here we go, here's a yellow one. It's yellow. I only have a 60 to 80% chance of succeeding if I attack. And then it goes up from there. So you basically search for people that are in your range that you're going to be moderately successful in attacking, and then attack them. And the amount of times you attack per day is controlled by your energy, which is controlled by a number of the stats, which controls how fast that fills back up. It's kind of like all the other games we play, like Splinterlands. You can only play so many hands in a day, etc. The second icon takes you to your inventory. Now this inventory, you can see all the different NFTs I have, various equipment, potions, things of this nature. You can see right here the items that I have equipped, which are the background on the page that you can see. And the backgrounds in this game, one of them's purely cosmetic, but the other one where I'm getting the bonus controls the additive to shard claim. So once again, the rare background you have equipped, you can up your rate of shard claim. Okay. The second one is advisor, and the third one is module, and these come into play in the game as well, have a number of stats on them that take effect on your character or for your play. Like this one gives plus 21 faith. I don't think you can see it, but it also gives fortification, NFT rarity, and power. And the advisor is going to come into play in a future part of the game, which is called expedition, but that's a little bit later. I'm going to talk about that because that's still upcoming. But this is your inventory, and you can sort it in various ways. And you can sort by rarity, or you can sort by what the item is you're looking for. So like right here, I sorted by crate, and I see I have 5 crates here. Or I could sort by background, and I could see that these are the backgrounds in my inventory currently. Okay. Now you'll notice that these other equipment slots are not filled yet. That is part of the new expedition mode of the game, which hasn't come out yet. But you know, it's going to be basic equipment for a character that you can go on the expedition, get your character, get your helmet, body armor, belt, etc., weapon, and then also level them up, because there is a leveling procedure in the game as well. So that icon is your inventory. The third icon in is going to be the Pyrite Forge, and I'm not going to go into depth in here, but this is where you take your inventory items, your equipment items, and change their stats around, increase them, get rid of stats, add new stats, level them up, things of this nature, all through this screen. The market. We can go to the market. You can buy or sell items. It has a lot of different ways you can sort. You can sort by rarity here, what type you're looking for. Like I'm looking for an invaluable module, and that's what they have on the store. You can go ahead and sort by different types, depending upon what you want to buy. And there's you all buy in Hive. Okay. Now, next to market is the shop. And if you go over on the shop, you will see what you can actually buy off of the game. The main thing is going to be, at this point, Yixen's trinkets, which are crates, random things. You buy them and you get random things from the game in there. And they tell you the percentages here as far as what you might get. Now, these other items are upcoming items for the expedition mode, and they have not been activated yet as far as I know, but you can see that they have various stats. Before you identify them in game, it's going to just say, like this one says 2 medium stats and 1 small stat, but you have to go through the procedure of identifying it to tell exactly what's on that equipment. But this is upcoming stuff for the game. Cool looking pictures there. And then finally you have settings. And obviously, just like you would think, if you go into settings, you can set your title. You can set a number of other things as far as your account goes. You can set the icon that's used as your character logo there. Now, moving over, in the right-hand corner, you have your quest log. And I can see that I just, the quest timer just went around for the day, and I got a new quest. And you can check out what your quest is just by clicking on that and then clicking on the quest you are interested in. And I can see that this particular one asks me to add 500 reputation and attack a player 5 times. Now, that doesn't mean attack one player 5 times. That means attack 5 different players. So I will be able to handle that. And when I do, it does have I don't know if you can read that, but once I fulfill those things within the quest, then I will have to burn 25 shard or pay 25 shard to get the prizes. And then once again, another burn mechanism built into the game to keep the value of part and shard up. Okay, you can have up to 3 quests in your log at any one time. And there are also items that you can get in your inventory that allow you to get more quests on a daily basis if you want to go ahead and do that. Okay, up here in this big right-hand corner picture window type thing here, you see your picture you pick out. You see a icon that is as a gem, and the gem indicates different levels of achievement. You see the logo if you are in a guild. You see the guild crest. You see an edit button where you can edit this, and you also see your title here. Below that, you see what kind of crypto you have. You see you have how many golem parts you have, how many comp you have, how many shards you have, and then you also see your ratings on the leaderboard below that. Now, next to here, it's a different kind of icon, but it also shows your rank. Then it shows next to that shows your scavenging rate, and it basically breaks it down to how much part and shard you're getting per hour per day, and then or per hour, and then per 24 hours, or what you've gotten over the last 24 hours. And then this is your a buff box, which shows you what all currently active buffs you have on your character. And then up here we referred to this, but this is your countdown timer for gaining back energy. And energy is the amount of tax you can have. Now, that looks like everything. However, you can hover over this menu box and open up these at the options at the top, and you have some different other options. Under the game option, I won't go through all these, but you have a bunch of different things. You can look at the white paper, you can look at polls if he has them up, statistics. You can go in, and under currency, you can go to the market, or you can look at your pools, swap things back and forth, and also change things on your account. This is also where you can pick up your referral link, which I'll leave in the show notes if you want to start playing. And then over here, you have your guild information, which you can also get to down here. A lot of these things you can get to a couple different ways, but if you're ever looking for, hey, how do I get that? Always check the top, because you're more than likely going to get into that. So let's go ahead and go back into inventory. And we kind of glossed over these, but you can also go into your inventory and get to the Pyrite Forge, the market, the shop, which is buying off of the actual game and not another person. The market is if I wanted to go on there and sell some cards. The achievement section, fragments. Another burn mechanism within the game is if you get a number of crates or NFTs, that backgrounds that you don't particularly need or want, you can also burn them for the chance at a better one. And obviously the higher rarities are going to take more to burn. Okay. And you can go in, and if I had any crates, I do have these 5 crates, but you could open a crate. Once again, it's like opening a pack in a card game. And this is the expedition mode I was going to talk about. This is an upcoming play mode that he's working on currently, and this refers back to the equipment cards I was looking at, but it's going to be about having your going on an expedition and acquiring various pieces of equipment. We don't have all the details, but there's a lot that goes into it, so that is upcoming. So, I mean, that's your basic 50-cent tour of the UI, okay? So, at this point, the game has been going for about 3/4 of the year, I believe. And I think for a one-man operation, he's really improved the game by leaps and bounds. And it started off, it was kind of bare bones, and right off the bat, we saw that he was going to have to make changes. Otherwise, the game was not going to last due to the crypto, the way the crypto, the part and shard was being handed out. It was going to be bled dry by botters, right? Or not even botters, just people with like 100 different accounts draining it off and selling it. But since then, he has made a lot of improvements to the game, but also to the Web3 part of the game, the crypto part of the game, that has kept the value of part and shard up. Now, is it as high as what it was when it first came out? No. But it's still at that point where I feel that the game's worth playing. And have I put a ton of money in it? No. But right up front, I think I put $100 into it right up front. But at this point, you could get a lot more in the game for $100 than what I did back then, because I was paying the premium prices, right, for the part and the shard on Hive Engine. So I think you could get in, you could get set up, you could get yourself a few crates and get going for not too much, and have a decent little game that doesn't require a whole lot of attention every few hours, But otherwise, I think he's done a good job with it. And if you ask me, hey, should I play this today in 2024? I'd say sure. If you're interested in Web3, there's not a whole lot of action to it. There's getting ready to be some newer parts like we talked about. And he's continuing to develop new stuff on a monthly basis. So I think it's worth playing. So let me know what you think. If you play Golem Overlord, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you don't, why not? Leave it in the comments. And if you would like to play, once again, use my link. Otherwise, that's been the tour, and I hope everyone out there is happy and healthy, and I will see you on the flip side.